Good morning. I am Quan Yin, and this is I Have No Cut Cards Tarot. I would like to say good morning to all of my subscribers and viewers. I appreciate your energetic support in watching my videos and the positive comments that you make that provide positive energy and encouragement. Okay, so I'm not going to make this video too long. I'm just going to try to sum up one aspect to help clear something up for somebody. When a person has a question and they're not trying to be funny and they're genuinely, just trying to understand, if it's something I can help clear up, I absolutely will do that. Now, somebody commented on one of my videos. They said, I don't quite understand how tarot works. They genuinely don't understand, because they were like, I'm a Leo and I didn't do any of these things, and, I get different people email me and request readings, and such and such, so on. So that's why I'm making this very quick, short video. Hopefully, I might pull some cards when I'm done with this. If you're interested, you can stick around. Of course, most of you know how tarot works, that watch videos often, or are readers, or XYZ, so you're not going to need this. But this is for someone new that might have clicked on my channel that might not be familiar or have understanding. So just very quickly, what I put out here for you is the Empress, okay, and the Emperor, okay? These two energies right here. This is feminine energy. This is masculine energy. With tarot, when we pull these cards, they can represent a whole lot of different things. It could represent the meaning of something, or it could represent an older male or an older woman. It usually does. The Empress also sometimes can represent a pregnant woman, especially if she comes out with the Ace of Swords. The Empress, when she shows up with the Ace of Swords, sometimes that can mean or indicate a pregnancy, or even by herself. Now, these are energies that you will embody, okay? They're not necessarily, doesn't have to be your sign. This is why we tell you to pay attention to the story and not the signs, because you have all signs in your chart, okay? So I put here, just to show you really quick, wands are fire signs: Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. I'm sorry, I apologize. It's still early for me. Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries energy. That's fire. See, it's a wand here. Wands have to do with a lot of passion and energy, confidence, warrior type energy, okay? This has to do with fire signs. It does not mean when this card comes out that they're talking specifically about you if you're a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius all the time. Sometimes it simply means that this is the energy the person is acting in right now. Right now, this person can be very confident, okay? And any other attributes, positive attributes having to do, with confidence, with passion, energy, it's very explosive at times. This is someone that's looked at in a certain type of a way. Now, also remember, with these energies, if the reader takes reversals and it comes out in the reverse like this, sometimes it can represent the lower side, okay? We all have dark and light, our higher and lower self. So this is someone with a lot of passionate energy that acts out of their lower self. Often when we're talking about things that have to do with sexual aggression, you'll get cards with wands in them, because wands, have to do with the penis, the phallus, and then the Queen of Wands reverse sometimes is identified as, a woman with her legs open, and she uses sex in a low vibrational way to manipulate or to do things, in a low vibrational way to manipulate people. And this is only one energy that you can embody, okay? Now, even if the Queen of Wands comes out, it doesn't mean it's a woman either. This can be a man, okay? It's only so many cards in the deck, and sometimes when you're dealing cards, it has to use whatever cards are left unless you go to another deck. So if they're talking about a man that is trying to sexually take advantage of a woman, the Queen of Wands can jump out too in the reverse, and it can indicate a man, okay? The reader will let you know that. Now, also, just to let you know, here's another king and queen, and it's the king and queen of pentacles, which is often referenced as earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, okay? When these cards come out, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, even though sometimes it does. And also, you need to understand that in the reverse, it's the lower aspects of that person's character in this earth energy. You know, earth signs, this has to do with energy surrounding stability, practicality, you know, things that make you stable and grounded, your root chakra now, okay? With the King and Queen of Pentacles, it's not a whole bunch of passion here. It's more practicality. It has more to do with stability. It has more to do with things that are more grounded, okay? Now, there are 4 kings and queens in the deck, okay? This other set is the King and Queen of Cups. It represents water, okay? Water represents emotions. So when we're talking about, if we're talking about money, a lot of times it could be just energy and the energy you put in doing something with pentacles. But oftentimes when we're talking about money, the pentacle cards will come out, okay? Now when we're talking about emotions, the emotional realm, okay, that's when you're going to see more of the cups come out, okay? The cups have to do with water. Water represents emotions in the tarot deck, okay? So that's why we start talking about someone that's emotionally intelligent and knows how to give and receive love, you know, when we get to talking about the King and Queen of Cups. It could represent a Scorpio, a Cancer, or Pisces energy, but it just could represent you or another person that is in some type of emotional state, whether you're using your intuition, because these people are very intuitive. So whether you are able to pick up on things intuitively by using your emotions because of your sensitivity, or if you're in the reverse and you know how to manipulate people's emotions because of your emotional intelligence, because of your intuitive abilities, because you dwell in the emotional realm and you're sensitive to people's emotions and energy. You can feel them very keenly. All right. Now they have all of these have a lot of other meanings as well, but I'm just trying to make you understand so you don't put in the comments, so you don't put in the comments, I didn't do that. I'm not a Pisces. I want you to understand in case you're not aware, okay? Which I know a lot of you already are. You won't even need this video. And the next king and queen in the deck is the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. Swords, they represent thinking and the mind. These are air signs, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. It does not mean when this card comes out, it does not always mean that this is a Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini that is doing whatever is coming out here. But in some cases it does. It depends on what is revealed to the reader during that read. And this King and Queen of Swords, it has to do with logic. Okay, it has to do with the brain and being a logical thinker. It has to do with intellect. Okay, see, remember, water represents emotions, okay? But the swords represent logic, okay? Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, they don't dwell in the realm of emotion. They dwell of emotion and what they can feel. They're not dealing with what they're feeling. What they're dealing with is what they can touch, taste, and see. They're dealing with cold, hard facts. It is what it is. I said what I said. This is exactly, don't tell me it's raining and pee on my leg, like Judge Judy say, okay? These are air signs, okay? So, and when they come in the reverse, well, when this comes in a reverse like this, sometimes it can indicate violence. Sometimes it can indicate someone that's getting ready to chop your head off or beat your ass. The King and Queen of Swords in the reverse are extremely narcissistic and dangerous because they lack any type of compassion or emotion about anything that they're doing. They can be very calculating, cold, and cutting. These are overly logical thinkers, and they will strategize a way to hurt you in the reverse, you know, or do something, and they care less about any type of feelings or emotions of anyone at all whatsoever. So in the reverse, this is a very narcissistic energy. Now, when the Empress or the Emperor comes out, this can represent Aries energy, but it's an older, masculine, more experienced figure. It does not have to be an Aries. The Empress is Libra energy, but it does not have to be a Libra, okay? It's an older, more experienced woman. And that experience they have when they come out like in the upright means that they have under control, because they're older and have experience, they have more control over their passion, because this is an older person, both the masculine and feminine aspect. This is an older person that has control over their passions now because they're older. They have control over their finances and being practical in their thinking and actions, in budgeting and managing financing, in building for themselves. They have control over their emotions due to life experience, because this is an older man and women that have experience in all. These are all aspects of your character. These people have more experience because they're older, and they have experience and have control over their logic. These are balanced people. These are balanced people through all of their life experience that are older, typically in their 40s and up, that are older, that have control. I'm not going to say mastered, but that have control and plenty of experience now with these aspects of their character. You know, logic, emotion, practicality, and their passion, okay? And they're in the upright. Oftentimes, when these guys right here come in the reverse, it has to do with people that are old enough to know better, but they still are making low vibrational choices. Their characters are still, they're acting out of their lower self, okay? Their characters are not refined yet, and they lack control over different aspects of their character. I say they're old enough to know better, because if you're an emperor or an empress, that means you are embodying all four of these energies, okay? Passion, practicality, emotion, logic, okay? You're old enough to know what the right thing to do is, but you exercise your free will to do the wrong thing. Now, interestingly enough, I also need you to understand, when we call out a sign, well, a Pisces did this, a Virgo did that, it still does not mean we're talking about you if your sun sign is Pisces or Leo or this, that, or the other, okay? You have many different placements, okay? You have many different placements in your chart. You're not only your sun sign, okay? You also have a moon sign, you also have a rising, and then you also have placements in different planets, okay? That embody certain energies at different times, depending on, you know, what's going on at that time in the atmosphere and the time you were born, a lot of things. Now, me personally, this Empress, it's funny, I'm looking at this Libra energy, because Libra is my north node, okay? And the Emperor, Aries energy, that is my south node, okay? North and south node, that has more to do with the lessons that you came here for. Interestingly enough, a lot of times you won't even realize it until you get your full chart read and find out what your north and south node is. And then you're going to realize, oh my God, I keep attracting this type of sun sign to me, and that must have been my lessons. Because when you move into your north node, that means that you have gotten a lot of your lessons and passed your test. And this usually happens when you're older. This usually happens, 40 and up. For some people, it happens when they're younger. You date, you have relationships with community, family members, bad experiences, good experiences. But as you grow and mature and raise your consciousness, if you are, I'm just going to say mastering your lessons, or I'm just going to say learning your lessons, then what's happening is you're moving out of your south node into your north node. So, like for me, it's so funny. For a while, I was attracting sun signs that in my past that I was dating that was Aries energy. And interestingly enough, my south node was Aries. So I just found it very interesting. I found it very interesting that was a lesson, it was a lesson that I was supposed to get in this lifetime by people that embody this type of energy right here, okay? And that's my south node, okay? And when you're in your south node and still operating out of your south node, it makes it easy also for people to spiritually attack you and for people to do things to you because you're vibrating at a lower vibration, because you're still getting your lessons and you still have aspects of your character in which you might be operating out of your lower self. So when you're operating out of your lower self, you're vibrating lower, and spell work can penetrate your field when you're on a lower vibration, okay? So a lot of people that study you and attack you, they attack you because they know they can get away with it because you're still in that south node, that whatever your south node is. But once you've gotten a certain amount of lessons and you've learned those lessons and your vibration has raised to a higher vibration, then when these people attack you, they don't realize that you have changed. They don't realize that you're vibrating higher because you got your lessons, and they're still thinking you're the old you, okay? They don't realize that through the years you've moved and transited out your south node into your north node, okay? And they continue to attack you, but it gets returned to the sender. They can't attack you and it's not going to affect you anymore because you're vibrating higher now because you got those lessons, okay? So you have a north node and a south node, okay? I suggest you get your whole chart pulled. Now, your sun sign is where the sun was placed, what planet at the time of your birth. Your sun sign is how people are going to view and see you in the world. That's why I say just because someone calls out your sun sign in tarot doesn't mean that it belongs to you, okay? So your sun sign is how the world views you, and your rising is how you view the world, interestingly enough. Your moon sign is having to do with you, when it comes to dealing in your emotions. It has to do with how you are emotionally, okay? Like me, I'm a very, very aggressive person. When I have a task or something that I have to attack and do, I don't care how hard it is. I don't care. Once I go to work on anything I'm working on, I don't care. It could be a physical task, whatever it is in life, I am aggressive, And I was like, wow, but I'm a Pisces. It's interesting, when I was younger and I didn't understand the signs, I'm thinking where's this aggression coming from? And not a bad aggression. It's good because it helped me get a lot done. But it wasn't until I had a better understanding of the signs, how I see and attack the world when it comes to handling my business. I'm a Taurus because Taurus is my rising sign. Okay, so when I'm in my energy, when it's having to do in tarot with something that I am attacking, or something that I'm aggressive toward, a mission that I'm trying to accomplish. If it's talking about a reading, if someone's reading comes up, and I'm watching a Pisces reading, and then Taurus comes up, and they're talking about this is the action that you took. It was very aggressive. Blah 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 blah. The Hierophant may come up, Taurus energy, and that will be me in that particular energy, okay? If you have a Scorpio moon, you might be a person when it comes to dealing in your emotions, when you're acting out of your lower self. If someone hurts you, You may want revenge. You may never forgive a person, that got you to open up to your emotions and trust you, and trust them, and then they backstabbed and betrayed you. You might be out for blood, or you just might be overprotective of loved ones, people that you feel emotional about, and extremely loyal to the point of, if anybody does anything to this person, I'll kill them. Not kill them, but I'm going to protect this person. Scorpios are extremely loyal people to the people they trust and love. They don't play. Sometimes to a fault, where a Scorpio energy can even protect somebody even when they're doing wrong because of that loyalty. And that would be operating out of their lower self, okay? But my point is, if you can imagine wearing a coat. In the wintertime, you have a coat on. A trench coat. When people meet you, they think that you're cold. When people meet you, you look very professional. When people meet you, you look very polished. You might seem uppity with that trench coat buttoned up all the way, this, that, and the other. And people will make assumptions about who you are because of that trench coat that you have on buttoned to the top. Because that trench coat represents your sun sign. That's who people see on the outside of you when they meet you. That's who you're representing. That's how you show up to the world, in that coat, in that jacket. But say you take somebody that met you with that trench coat on, that has said, oh wow, you're a very conservative person, you're very classy, you're very but you're a little uptight. They made all these presumptions about who you are because of that trench coat. Now you invite that person into your house, and you unbutton that coat, and you take that coat off, and you have on lingerie, and you're very sexual. And now let's say you're a Scorpio moon sign. I'm just using that as an example. And this person sees a whole nother side of you now, because you took off that coat. You invited them into your home and took off that coat, and you're in your emotions at this particular time, and they see, oh wow, this is a whole nother person. No, that's not what it is. What it is, like I said, you have a sun sign, how you show up to the world, the coat's on, that's how they see you. But then when you reveal your emotions to a person and open up, they see you in a different light. Oh, wow, you're really like this. You have different aspects to yourself depending on if it has something to do with a task that you are going towards and approaching. Like if your rising is an Aquarius, you might be disconnected and aloof in a sense. You might not. You might be a little bit disconnected and aloof, and might even when dealing with people and things out in the world, you might be a little more vulnerable in a sense. You might be more open to people. You might not be as suspicious of people, of things. If that's your rising. I'm Taurus rising, like I said, I'm very aggressive, okay? Your moon sign, now, when you deal with your emotions, or if, say your moon sign is Pisces, or even say your moon sign is really a Cancer, and people come to find out that on the inside, you're very soft, you're very highly sensitive, but you're a fire sign in your sun sign. Which means, you might come off even as very passionate, very aggressive, and extrovert. But then people find out that you're very, very sensitive when it comes to your emotions. So just remember, I'm trying to make you understand, in tarot, when your signs come up, it's talking about whatever energy you are embodying within that drama that's going on that we're talking about, okay? Understand, it always doesn't mean if Aries comes up that if you have an Aries sun sign, it's you, okay? You could have an Aries moon sign, and it could be a situation going on where, we could be pulling some information on you, and you're going to come out in a certain energy because you're in your emotions about a situation. or you're acting practical because we're talking about a business situation having to do with a career or a job. Okay, so then you might show up in an earth type energy. Okay, so in any case, I just want you to really understand you have multiple signs in your chart. And one other quick thing I just want to quickly address. Someone had also mentioned, that's not me. I get a lot of emails from people that are requesting personal readings. I don't do personal readings at this time, but if you email me and request a personal reading and I read the email, I read all of them. Although I don't do personal readings at this particular time, if I pick up on your energy, it might come out in one of my readings. Now, interestingly enough, I get a lot of emails with people requesting readings. And someone put in one of my messages, they put, I never did this. You're lying. I never did that. I never did this. I never did that. Okay? And this is someone that emailed me about a reading. But here's the thing. I put several readings out. My question to you, really quick, is only a hit dog will holler. If that's not your reading, then why did you, the question is, then why did you assume the energy? Why did you point that reading out and say that's not me? Saying that's not me to a reading that was not addressed towards you is basically you claiming that that's your energy and you recognized it. Because if that wasn't you, then you would not have claimed, or you would not, you would be like, oh, well, that can't be me because that didn't happen to me. This, that, and the other. So basically, in you commenting under a specific reading that I didn't do that, you're basically like a hit dog being hollered. That means that you know that that was you because you recognize the story and the energy, because you chose that particular reading. Nobody said nobody's name or anything like that. If you emailed me, and some information came out, I picked up on your energy, and you go to that reading and say, that didn't happen, that's not me, that's you claiming that reading. Because something in that reading looked familiar to you, that happened. So in a sense, if it's not your energy and it's not you, you would not identify with it at all, period. When I watch people's readings, I can't identify with something that I know is not my energy, something I know I did not do. If you are watching any of my readings or anybody else's, and you know that this is not something that you did, and you don't feel a certain type of way, and you've never done this and that and the other, there's no need to comment and say that didn't happen or that's not me. Just simply, it's not your reading, and you're still welcome to finish watching, or you're welcome to not watch. Nobody puts a gun to your head to force you to watch anyone's video. If you have a problem or issue with some information that is coming out that you disagree with, that you feel is not you, and you don't like the way that it's coming out or the reader is telling it, then don't watch that reader. It's simple. It's so funny. It's a lot of people that will watch your videos and your content and try to tell you how, to deliver your content. These are narcissists that don't understand how spirit works, and they're controlling. These are narcissists that don't understand you don't control God, and you don't control how God flows through people. However a message is delivered, whatever information comes out and is said during that message, however the reader does it, is the way that God wants them to do it for some readers. If it does not resonate with you, then you find another reader that does resonate. You don't keep watching, and you should do this like this, and you should do that like that. No, if you don't like something, don't watch it. I never critique other people on what and how they do. That's not my place, ever. It's not for me to critique how someone does something. I can watch it, and if I like it, I'll continue. I'll subscribe and continue to watch. If I don't like it and don't like the way they do it, I won't watch. I don't need to let that person know that I don't like their readings, or I don't like the way they do it, or no, you should do it like this. No. That's not for me to do. God and the Holy Spirit has to flow freely. It has to have the freedom to express itself creatively in any way that the Spirit chooses. It's bendable, it has to be flexible, especially if you're a channeler. If you're a channeler, that means you're channeling real things that are said and that happen, and the energy that people embody when it happened. It's like these comedians out here that sell out and they sign contracts not to talk about controversial issues. How can you control comedy? You're not allowed to make fun of this group of people. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. And that's why I love Dave Chappelle. He say what the fuck he want, and that's why he's still funny. Some of my favorite comedians, because they sign contracts with Hollywood, they're not allowed to be free to truly express themselves and talk about incidents and things that happen in the world and give their natural spin on it the way God created them and gave them that natural ability and talent to laugh at it a certain type of way and bring comedy to a situation that's serious and put their touch on it, which is why they are who they are, and which is why God created them to be the way he created them, which is what made them famous in the first place. Chris Rock. I loved his comedy. But later on, being in Hollywood, they put restrictions on you as to they put restrictions and attached to your sacral chakra out there, and put restrictions on your creativity and tell you what you can and can't joke and talk about. With comedy, you can talk about, there are no boundaries. If you are offended, don't watch. I am not offended by any race making fun of another race in comedy, because I feel like, or a gender or anything else, because there are no limits in comedy. That's what makes it funny. Okay? I don't care. I know white people make fun of black people in comedy, as well as black people make fun of white people, and people make fun of people of other cultures in comedy. If people have the freedom to say as they will, some people find different things funny. If somebody is offensive to you, you cannot control what they say, how they view the world, or make fun, whatever the case. It's called comedy for a reason. And if that person is offensive, don't watch them. It's not for you. Don't watch it. Okay? People make fun of different types of things. If you find it offensive, then don't watch. Okay? But I don't believe restrictions should be put on comedy for anyone. If you don't like someone because the things they say are offensive to you, then you don't watch them. But I don't think you should take anybody's freedom of speech away. Just don't watch, okay? Because when everybody goes home, what you think you're going to force them to talk about what you want them to talk about and view the world the way you want them to view it in their homes? No. People have the freedom to be who they are. Okay. So, like I said, only a hit dog will holler. So, I get a lot of emails from people, like I said, about requesting readings. And a lot of readings may pick up on some of their energy. It doesn't mean that it's you. If it doesn't resonate with you and you're not recognizing the energy or the actions in that reading, then why would you identify yourself with it? Because only a hit dog hollers, and you recognize your energy in that reading, and it must have offended you. I will never try to avoid offending someone when it comes to telling the truth. I will try to use words to speak from a heart space of love and not one from ego. I do my best to do that. I am a human. I am not perfect. But if something is the truth and it hurts a little bit, the truth does hurt. It does sting. It's not easy for people to accept correction. Even me, myself. Okay? So if somebody says that you're dealing with self-esteem, if someone says you are dealing with self-esteem issues right now that need to be healed, or this is what's going on with you, you don't want to identify as somebody that has low self-esteem. Some people are embarrassed by that and they feel attacked. Some people feel guilt and shame when it talks about something, a negative aspect of themselves, even if it's true. And they don't like it because guilt and shame is associated with it. Let me explain something to you. There's not a human being on this earth that when it was time for them to be honest with themselves about how they're showing up in the world and to start healing, didn't have to go through a time when they felt guilt and shame and overcome it. It takes time sometime, and it's not easy for people to feel shame about certain issues like low self-esteem. It's nothing to be, having low self-esteem is nothing to be ashamed of at all. Oftentimes that's something that happens in our childhood, because of the conditioning that we receive. Oftentimes we're conditioned by society in what we're shown is a standard for finances, economic status, title, how you should look. And these are the things that make us feel inadequate sometimes. Storybooks that we look at. I know because of the ruling class having been Europeans, since I think around the 1300s, when it started changing over, from the Moors being the ruling class on the planet to Europeans, taking over everywhere, little by little they took over. What happened is, because they also had control over media, they set the standard of beauty as being, especially for women, the standard of beauty, being slim, being very skinny, not really having butt, hips. They put big breasts on the women, but having blonde hair, blue eyes, light skin, or being white or pale as possible. And you saw this because that was set as a standard of beauty, and they had control over every storybook, the Disney, every magazine, the TV shows. In the religions, you saw Jesus with blonde hair and blue eyes, all the angels. There are paintings in Ethiopia right now where all the angels in heaven are light skinned and all the demonic people on the earth that need help are dark skinned. When we have Ethiopians of every complexion and feature and hair texture, we had, and this is in all cultures, in Asian cultures, you see the darkest skinned Asians with kinky hair. You won't see them. Same in East India, but the pale skinned Asians are more revered and loved. In cartoons, you can even see like Dragon Ball Z. I think Goku, or the one, when he becomes Super Saiyan, I think in the cartoon Dragon Ball Z, in his ultimate power, when he's his most powerful, his eyes turn blue and his hair turns blonde. And they even depict Siddhartha, the Buddha, as having blonde hair and blue eyes in cartoons, on TV. Now, it's not just, black people and people of other cultures, they're touching me right now, that find this offensive. There are white people that find this offensive too. Because not every white woman and white man likes being objectified and being held to a standard, wherein they're told the standard of beauty is, not really having these feminine curvy features and kinky hair or olive complected skin or these features. There are white people out there that find that very offensive because they come in just as many shapes and features and textures of hair, as we do. Just as many. I'm telling you, from different parts of Europe, every white person obviously does not have blonde hair and blue eyes and no hips and this, that, and the other. That's a stereotype. There are just as many white women from Romanian and all different, parts of the world too, that have the same big hips and big butt or curvy in other ways and features, even in features, different types of features and textures of hair, just as much variety as black women. And they don't like either those ideas being pumped towards them either, that in order to be considered attractive, I have to have blonde hair, blue eyes, and then not have, this is the right shape for women. So a lot of them find that offensive too, because all women in all cultures, it's diversity. We come in all shapes and sizes, and it's not just black women. It's women in other cultures that also come in all different shapes, features, and sizes and textures of hair too. Okay? So, like I said, a lot of people, they have low self-esteem because of the ruling class that we were under that made, this the standard of beauty. And it caused a lot of problems, mainly for black women, I'm going to say. Mainly for black women, okay, in our self-esteem. Because we were really taught, we were really oppressed and taught to really, really hate our color, our features, our hair, everything about us. And even more specifically, dark-skinned black women. Dark-skinned black women with more prominent features and shapes in the body, had it, I would say, the worst in being objectified and in being criticized for how they look. The job that has been done on our self-esteem as a collective, but also specifically black women too, especially, because it was a whole campaign, waged against black women when it comes to the standard of beauty, okay? But a lot of people have been affected because of slavery, and the campaign in the media, in this campaign and this spiritual warfare against us, in how we view ourselves in Disney, in the books that we were read, being disconnected from our culture and our history in magazines, and how we're depicted on TV, and who was considered beautiful and who was not. All kind of things going on here, okay? So I know I'm long-winded, but I'm saying all that to say we're human beings, okay? Some of us have self-esteem issues in different areas of our life for different reasons, okay? So it's hard because some type of shame sometimes we carry when it's a negative character flaw that someone mentions about ourselves that we might need to work on, and we feel embarrassed about it. So the first thing we might do is attack the person that might have shined a light on that. And that's why sometimes if our energy comes out in the reading, we feel shame. And the first thing before we reflect and try to be honest with ourselves, is that really me? Is that an issue I'm really dealing with? Is to project. No, that's you. That's not my energy. That's not me. That's not who I am. Then why did you think that was for you? If that's not who you are, then why are you identifying with it? If that's not you, you would click off and just be like, oh, that's not my reading. That's not my reading. That's not my energy. That never happened. None of those things are me right there, so that's not me. So like I said, if you were triggered by something, you're a human being. And it's okay to be triggered because you're a human. Especially if it's something that triggers any type of guilt or shame within you. But that has to be dealt with as well in a positive way. If that was your first reaction, that's fine. But later on, take some time to reflect. If that's really something going on with me, and I really want to self-improve, I'm going to get and summon the courage to look further into that. All right. So with that, I hope that helps somebody. Okay, I hope you understand that all 4 queens and kings in the deck embody energies. If we call out your sign, it could be any placement in you that we're calling out. It does not have to be, it does not have to be, it does not have to be your, it does not have to be your sun, moon, or rising. It can be any placement in your chart that we're pulling energy from at the time. So don't be very quick to jump when you hear your sign and say, I never did that. Because it might not be talking about you. It might not be your reading. And if it's not your reading, you don't have to worry about it. Why would you sit on my keyboard? That's Osar, my divine masculine. And out there in that plant that you see, out there in that plant is Osset. She likes to sit in the plant. And Osar likes to follow me around because he's my divine masculine. He don't have no job, but it's only because he don't speak English. Even though I understand him and he understand me when I speak it, you know, that's his other girlfriend out there licking herself. He provides great emotional support, though. You know, but he feels some kind of way because I got to spend all my money to buy the food and pay all the bills in the house. And I have to clean up his poop. So, you know, he a little bit sensitive about that. So we try not to bring that up. Because the last time I brought that up, you know, he got to acting funny in front of y'all. Like he had a problem with me. All right. So, let me see. 46 minutes. Actually, I think I'm going to end this right here. Okay. I am QUAN, and this is I Have No Cut Cards Tarot. I hope this helps somebody.